Earth.
Air.
Water.
Fire.
For the longest time, the four nations have lived together in harmony. Under the wise leadership of Avatar Roku, the world has experienced an era of peace and prosperity. But with the recent death of Avatar Roku and the arrival of a strange comet in the sky, members of all nations feel the winds and tides of change. With the search for the new Avatar only just beginning, the world seems poised on the brink of conflict. But without the Avatar, who will save the world?
My name is Bree, also known as PrettiPixel, and I am playing Shurva, a warrior from the Fire Nation.
I play Mako, a firebender from the Fire Nation.
Hello, I'm Ali, and I'm playing Oki, a waterbender from the Northern Water Tribe.
I'm Brandon, and I'm Rung-Bolo, an earthbender from the Earth Nation.
Hey, I'm Dave, and my character is Al, the airbender from the Air Nomads.
And I'm Owen, the dungeon master of this ragtag group of members of all four nations. Well, hello, and welcome back everybody to Avatar Legends as we play through Book 1, Embers of War. Thank you so much. Say hello, everybody. First, we should say hello.
Hello, everybody!
Hello, everybody. Oh, how nice is it to be back on a Tuesday evening playing some Avatar Legends. I almost said Dungeons and Dragons, but we're not playing Dungeons and Dragons, we're playing Avatar Legends. Easy to make that mistake. So welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining us. For those of you who might be joining us for the first time with Avatar Legends, it's a brand new RPG based on Powered by the Apocalypse, which powers a few different RPG systems. It's released by Magpie Games. It's just finished its Kickstarter, which means the full version is coming out early next year, so get excited if you want to check that out. Links will be in the description to go and try out Avatar Legends if you want. I thoroughly recommend it. Absolutely awesome RPG system. But before we get too into Avatar, I should say thank you everybody who joined us last session for Avatar, and then who joined us on the Wednesday for the Dungeons & Dragons Tyranny of Dragons campaign. That is really starting to get into gear now. We are powering through Rise of Tiamat at a rapid pace. So our heroes are now heading up to the Sea of Moving Ice up north to try and locate the Drakhorn, which is going to be lots and lots of fun. And somewhat coincidentally, Wizards of the Coast, the people who make Dungeons & Dragons, just released a brand new module called Fizbin's Treasury of Dragons, which is all about dragons. And seeing as we're playing the Tyranny of Dragons, it's been fantastic. We've been able to add in cool new things, cool new systems that they're just introducing. So I had a lot of fun with that. And we're going to be seeing more and more really cool new things. So we're going to be re-sprucing up this module, because believe it or not, the Rise of Tiamat module, the Tyranny of Dragons module, is the very first 5e adventure to be published. So it's, I think, 10 years old. That's nuts. But we're making it fresh, new, and hip, and cool, more importantly. I mean, as cool as a D&D game can be, but it's cool. But we're not playing D&D tonight. Tonight we're playing Avatar Legends. So we should do a little recap for those of you who are just joining us back. Our story has been following Shurva and Mako of the Fire Nation, Rung of the Earth Kingdom, Oki of the Water Tribe, and Al of the Air Nomads. The children of important ambassadors for each of the four nations, they have been attending a historic summit at the Beifong estate. With the recent death of Avatar Roku and the arrival of a strange comet in the sky, omens of war and conflict seem numerous. After being captured by the Dai Li, the group have managed to escape into the Si Wong Desert. After some friendly assistance from Sandbender Eye, the group have now arrived at the Misty Palms Oasis with a sand ship of their own, which is now titled The Quenchiest, based on audience votes. After spending some downtime, the group discussed their plans and prepared for the journey ahead, but after Mako revealed his identity to the local Earth Kingdom soldiers, the group have now been forced to flee the Misty Palms Oasis, with 2 students in tow who are searching for the lost library of Wan Shitong. And we jump straight back in. Last session, we ended with all of you sort of fleeing, some of you half-heartedly fleeing to the sand ship that was set out just outside the Misty Palms Oasis, just outside the sandstone walls. After convincing one of the Earth Kingdom soldiers who was supposed to be not kidnapping, but supposed to be keeping you guys under protective custody, after convincing him that you were better off on your own and that you did not need the protective custody, he has kind of given you a little bit of a cover, pretending that he's trying to chase you down while actually providing a bit of interference for the group who are trying to come after you. But at this point, yeah, you've jumped on the Quenchiest, you've got your supplies, you're in your new sand desert appropriate robes and clothing, with the sort of the tight goggles with the pinhole entrance and the sandbender robes. And as you jump on board the Quenchiest and begin taking off with Rung sort of sandbending this central spiraling mass of sand, and Aal helping to sort of speed it up by blasting little bits of air to catch the sails and keep it moving, the ship takes off at quite a quick pace. And before too long, you are skimming over the dunes very rapidly, passing a few sort of very low cactuses and shrubs. But apart from that, just these endless rolling sand dunes that continue on as far as the eye can see. My question is, as you guys are heading out into the deep desert, it begins to get very, very hot. At this point, the students sort of look towards you, me and Lee says, right, so the plan is to look for some sort of breach or chasm. Apparently the library is still located on the surface, but there's a breach so the sand can't pour inside. We're looking for a chasm or a breach. Should be visible from the dunes. Otherwise, we could potentially look for the fox servants, these knowledge-seeking foxes that the Great Spirit employs to seek out knowledge. Perhaps that would be a good way to locate them.
Why not both?
Yes, but absolutely. I mean, some of us could devote ourselves to scanning the horizon. You're an airbender. You have a glider, correct?
It's mine, but yes.
I wouldn't. I can't use it. I was merely
He's
going
touchy about his glider. Don't steal it.
No. I was merely going to suggest that perhaps you could scout from the air. That might help locate where we need to go quicker.
I'm going to do that, but just because I want to, not because you told me to. And
okay.
Al opens up the glider and just flies off.
Be careful. It's hotter up there. The closer to the sun.
Amazing.
Al doesn't hear this, but when he's up there, he's like, "Wow, it's hotter up here. It's closer to the sun."
Jesus Christ. Yeah, these guys are just in tune, in sync, apparently. Al, could you assess the situation for me, please?
Sure thing.
I like how Dave, for those of you who are watching this on Twitch or YouTube, Dave actually looked around then. Genuinely looked, he was like... Alright, so Al...
That's why I rolled a 7.
We'll get to yours in a second, Al. Dave, I want to know what you see around you. Can you describe for me what you see around you?
Well, like, I guess Al like is focusing just as far as he can.
No, because you were looking around. I want to know what Dave says.
Oh, I have a lot of screens, and a lot of like, one of them has the roll 20, another one has the roll 20.
Yep. That's
and
okay.
The other one's a quick start guide,
Okay.
so it's just
He's ready to
It's
go.
really high up at your screens, and I think I'm jealous of your setup.
I have one of
I
them.
don't know what it is. But...
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I'm thinking about adding a third screen. I think I might have a chat to you, Dave, about your setup. But in the
One
meantime,
of mine's a portrait one. It's definitely worth it for PDFs.
Portrait's
Absolutely.
great.
Yep.
I have you guys on a portrait right now with my you guys are up here, and then I have my roll 20 page down the bottom. Really good.
Yeah. Okay. I know what I need to do. In the meantime, back in the world of Avatar.
Sorry.
No. This is I opened this
so
discussion up. This was my fault. 7 mixed success. You can ask me a question. What would you like to know as you look around? I will describe briefly what you see a little bit to give you an idea, and then you ask me a question specifically.
He just briefly thinks, I wonder if this scenery looks better in portrait or landscape.
Yeah, definitely
that's his
stunning.
question.
Stunning in both, but 4K is where it's at. Yeah. And if you could get it in 3D, So, as you look about, you can see the sand dunes rolling away in front of you endlessly. From this high up, you can actually start to see the sand dunes even slightly moving. One of the features of the Si Wong Desert is that the sand dunes almost move a little bit like waves at a much slower pace. The wind is constantly pushing, and so the sand dunes are always changing shape and changing with the wind. But as you begin sort of flying up, you start to notice there are patterns to the way the sand is arranged, almost as if So you know when you put sound waves through a bowl of sand, it assumes these patterns based on the frequency of the sound. There's almost a little bit of that as you get up. I think it's called cytonics is the word for it. But as you get up a little bit higher, you start to notice these almost crystalline-like patterns in the way the sand dunes are branching out. And it looks like they're branching out in these fractal patterns from the center. And from this high up, you can indeed see the center. It is a little bit over towards the north from where you guys are, and a little bit more towards the east. But you can see this large, dark rock and dark sort of shapes around the rock as well. This massive stone rock in the or iron rock in the center of the desert. Would you like to ask me any questions? You get one question, I should say. I said questions, but you rolled a 7, so you don't get one.
Before I ask that one question, what time of day is it? Is it? It's like
Early
late
morning.
Is it?
Yeah, early morning. So you guys got up with the sunrise, and then let's assume your shenanigans and bullshittery in town took you guys about 2 hours. So at this point, we're looking at about 9 o'clock at the very latest. So it's still, let's say mid-morning.
Huh,
How long did it take Andrew to piss off the Earth Nation soldiers? Only about an hour. So didn't take him long.
Speed run.
Yeah, speed run. Yeah.
I can improve upon that.
If it wasn't for the wheelbarrow, it would have been
100%.
longer.
That's right. The wheelbarrow really cut down the time for that speed run. That's very true.
Questions. I guess. So okay, so the rock is where the black
Center of
rock
the desert is.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, apart from something just obvious, like, are there any trails or anything that the spirit foxes, could have like left behind, or?
Yeah,
Or-
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
As you are sort of looking around, you begin noticing that you're a bit too far away this high up, and you have to start moving a little bit closer towards the surface of the desert to see the fox trails. But as you do get a little bit closer and begin moving around, you can see the sand ship below you is sort of falling behind. After a few minutes of searching, you do, out of the corner of your eye, spot a lone grey-furred creature moving slowly through the desert, just pacing at this very sort of loping run, not in any sort of rush. And as you fly down a little bit closer to get a look, you can see it does appear to be this large, wolven-looking fox, this large lupine fox with slightly sort of sandy grey fur, and in its mouth it is clutching a scroll. This long, intricate scroll curled up in its mouth.
Does it look like it saw me?
It hasn't seen you yet as you're flying above it, but I'd say probably as you get a little bit closer and your shadow passes underneath, the sort of fox pauses, turns and looks up at you, goes back, keeps moving, doesn't seem too fussed by you. You wave? Okay.
Yeah.
It sort of pauses, sits, and then holds up a paw and moves the paw a bit.
So it pauses.
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
What does
Well
the
done.
fox say?
Yeah.
All right, so you both are going to mark 2 fatigue. No.
Big psychic damage.
yeah, 23 psych. No.
Mark foolish.
Yeah, mark the foolish condition. Shurva's right now.
Worth it.
I think our DM needs to mark anger.
The DM's marked anger, don't worry. I'm gonna roll with
Always
furiosity.
angry.
It's a mixture of ferocity and furiousness. Al, as you wave, this sort of grey fox-like canine form pauses, gives it a wave with its paw, and then
Thank you.
continues walking along.
I made a friend.
You have made a friend.
Yes. I just keep an eye on it for a bit till I get a clear sense of what direction the fox is facing.
Due
heading.
east. Yeah, just completely
Due
due
east,
east at this
yeah.
point.
So I watch him for maybe 30 seconds just to make sure he's not like wandering around. He's like going straight east. And then I fly back to the boat and report. Sorry, I glide
Yeah.
back. I can't fly.
Absolutely.
That's,
As you glide back and begin airbending around, my question is, what are the rest of you doing? Rung, Oki, Mako, Shurva. Rung, you're kind of focusing on sandbending, so I'd say at this point there's not too much you can do apart from focusing on sandbending. In fact, can I get you to roll with skills and training, please? Just to see how effective your sandbending is. Oki.
Yeah, that's
while
my
Rung
main
is
thing of
doing
like practicing this. Sorry.
Yeah. Oki, while Rung is doing that, can you tell me what you would be doing during this time?
I think
it would probably be equal sort of parts trying to figure out how the whole sailing on sand thing works. Like, are the weather patterns different? Like, what are some things that like I should be keeping an eye out for? Like, just like as a general good sailor chick. You know, she sort of doesn't feel quite comfortable like sitting back and not doing anything on the boat, even though it's
could I
water.
also get you to roll with your skills and training, just to sort of assess and understand what's going on with the. Actually, I'll tell you what. I'd say that you can assess the situation or roll with skills and training, your choice, because it kind of falls into two different categories there. Where I'd say you can choose either one. Mako and Shurva, think about what you guys would be doing. We'll get to Rung. Rung, that's a 6. You're trying your best.
He's doing his best.
You only learnt sandbending sort of 48 hours ago at this point. And I was a good teacher. I did a really good job of teaching you. And when you were under his tutelage, you felt confident and you felt like you had it. But it's a bit different without I looking over your shoulder, kind of giving you directions and pointing out your mistakes. And so the sand ship begins moving very slowly, and every so often as you lose control of this central vortex of sand, the ship just stops dead and begins sinking a little bit, and you have to quickly begin trying to sand bend back to keep the ship moving. You are having a little bit of trouble. However, Oki, who is a little bit more practiced with sailing, Oki, very quickly you begin to notice, with a 9 on your assess the situation, you begin to notice that this is very, very similar to sailing. The only difference here is that you don't sink when or too much. You don't sink too much when the boat stops moving. In actual fact, because of the way that the sand ship is designed, these two central aquaplanes that propel it up and keep it on the surface of the sand, there's actually not a huge amount of friction, less than you were probably expecting. The wind plays a big role, but as the sandbender is controlling and moving the central vortex of sand and wind, they kind of create their own thrust and push the boat forward. So you're sort of noticing things where Rung can assist and do better, and you actually are able to help Rung, which means Rung gets a +1 to his, because we're going to, your sort of assess the situation, we're going to kind of turn into a bit of a help, as your knowledge and your understanding of how sailing works kind of gives Rung a bit of assistance. And for the podcast listeners, Brandon was just mouthing thank you. So very, as Oki sort of watches and assesses and then gets a bit of an understanding, Oki is now able to help you Rung with your sailing and is able to give you pointers without, it's kind of like without Al there to help provide the airbending, you're struggling a bit to keep the momentum going, but Oki's able to point out ways that you could kind of like basically moving to avoid the crests of the sand dunes, which is going to slow you down, trying to keep on a bit of a diagonal when going down so that you keep your momentum constant, rather than just going all the way down straight ahead, hitting the bottom, and then aquaplaning and not having anywhere really to go from that point onwards. So it's sort of using Oki's knowledge of sailing. Mako, what are you doing during this time?
I'm taking a nap. So, but my head's back and my mouth is like a little bit open.
Okay. Amazing.
Sunburnt mouth.
Shurva, what are you doing while Mako is just sort of lying back? Occasionally a bit of sand from Rung's sandbending just flies and goes inside Mako's mouth, and he's like, every so often.
You're muted, by the way.
Okay.
That's it. Listeners,
That was a quick pickup there, Mako. That was quick, Andrew. You got that
was
straight
really
away.
quick.
Who's this one here?
I did an entire stream once muted. It was shameful. No one told me.
No one told me.
2 hours. People were there in the chat chatting along, and I thought it was going really well. But I think it was a joke. I think they were like, nah, this guy's muted. Let's just enjoy it. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I
Oh
love
my
Twitch.
god.
Yeah.
That's his best stream.
That was like my 3rd stream ever. I think I was doing Subnautica, and then I downloaded it to edit it for YouTube, and I was like, well, this is unusable. So then I tried to redub myself. That is up on YouTube if you want to see it.
You're
Oh,
back.
it's like Scarlett in
I think
here.
I did an okay job. I reckon I did all right, but yeah, look,
Oh
not my
my
proudest
God.
moment. The things you learn. I always do a sound check now. It says these guys will notice I do a sound check every session just to be sure.
Measure twice, cut once.
Yep. So Shurva, yes. What do you do?
I'm sitting back with a handful of pebbles that I picked up before we climbed aboard, and I am tossing them into Mako's mouth, trying to get them in.
Would you like to roll? I'm tempted to give you your choice, skills and training or push your luck. Your choice.
I feel like I'm pushing my luck with this one.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely.
To hope that he doesn't wake up and yell at me.
13 full success. I was going to say, if you get a failure, Mako's going to start choking. 13 full success. As you're sitting there, you just you look around, keeping watch. No one's looking at you. Whew, throw a quick pebble. Mako, you're sort of lying there. Occasionally, a little bit of sand's blown in your face, but you're not too fussed. And then suddenly, you can't breathe. And you just sort of sit up and begin choking. You cough up a pebble into your hand. As you do so, you can see Rung is focusing on sand bending. Oki's kind of pointing out things. Shurva's at the front, keeping watch. Maybe a pebble must have got kicked up by the sand ship moving along.
I like to imagine just Rung, he's overconfident, so he's just like, oh yeah, I've got this. So he's solely distracted, just flicking sand all behind him and shit.
I just look at it in my hand, really confused about how this got here. Just throw it over the side and just go back, but sort of roll up this time.
Yeah, Shurva, it's a harder throw, but you got a 13. Again, you fling that pebble. It bounces off the side of the ship and up his nose. Mako, you sort of pause. You sit up straight and you pull this tiny pebble out of your nose. Again, Rung's focusing on sandbending. Oki's kind of pointing out stuff. You can see Shurva is really intently sort of scanning the skies, looking for Aal. The two other Earth Kingdom students, me and Lee are poring over these maps. They haven't even looked at you the whole time this has been going on. They're just staring at these maps in detail, sort of arguing and discussing between themselves how best to locate the library. This
time, I just pivot off the side, just as hard as I can, just all the frustration of how is this happening?
As you fling it over the side.
This doesn't seem physically possible.
Yeah, no, absolutely. As you peg it over the side as hard as you can, it strikes the body of a sandworm that just came up for a little bit. No, that doesn't happen. No. I'm just kidding.
I don't see your boss health bar.
Bum, 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 bum. What's that music coming from? What's that? The pebble just bounces on the sand and then falls to a stop, and the sand ship continues powering on. At this point, Aal flies from over the top of a dune and lands on the deck of the airship, sort of bringing his staff back in and putting it over his shoulder.
Guys, I saw a fox, and I also saw the big giant black rock, which is really cool. And there's lots of swirls in the sand dune, and the fox is that way, and it's heading east.
Oh, you found the fox? That's wonderful news. Great. Yes, that's so. You said east. Quick, we must change course to head east now.
Yes, east. Which way is that? He's throwing sand left and right.
Got a bit of an echo on you, Brandon. Is anyone else, or is it just me?
Why the echo so bad?
Yeah, I can hear
I heard
you.
that then. Is it better now? Or?
It's gone now, yeah, it's gone now.
Let me close my door, just in case it's
I
gone.
was gonna say,
Shout
it
again.
could have just...
Is he that loud that he's coming through yours?
Yeah.
For those of you who weren't aware, Brandon and Ali are sharing a house, so they can. Okay, Brandon, can you do a quick shout for me?
1, 2.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
There we go. That was it.
You can't see it in frame, but there's a giant mattress on the wall there to help.
I was about to say,
that's good idea.
there was no reverb there. It was...
Yeah, that's
My
ideal.
mic is on the other side of this entire setup, on the other side of the room from the door.
You're clearly used to dealing with Brandon.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. Brandon, as you sort of get back and begin focusing, Oki, you sort of jump to the back and take control of the steering of the sand ship. You take control of the rudder as Rung is focusing on sand bending, and the rudder for the sand ship works exactly the same as it does for an ocean ship, or just a ship, I should say. So you're very used to using. You understand how rudders work. You've got no problems at all sort of steering the ship. And the ship takes off and begins heading towards the east. As it does so, Lee sort of turns towards you.
Yells out, nets at the back. Just before we go full into it.
Okay, fair. Lee sort of turns towards you, Alan, and goes, "You said you could see the lodestone, the star iron in the center of the desert, correct?"
It was huge.
How big are we talking? We've never seen it.
How big was it?
It was visible from the air from hundreds of kilometers away.
At least
You're not 100% sure, but massive. Yeah, that big.
It was like the size of Ba Sing Se.
Surely not that big.
Well, I only saw the wall of Ba Sing Se, but like, yeah, I think so.
Then it could have been as big as a section of the wall of Ba Sing Se. That could be correct. Yes.
No, pretty sure it was as big as Ba Sing Se.
Have you been to Ba Sing Se?
I've been to the Beifong Estate, right outside Ba Sing Se.
The Beifongs.
Yes. Why are you reacting like that?
Ba Sing Se from really far away.
The Beifongs are very, very rich, influential family. Apologies. No offense,
I
but
know people.
no offense, but I'm very surprised that you had an invite to their estate.
Well, look, when you're as important as I am, as part of the air nomads, it happens, and no offense taken.
Yes. Is that how you came across this eclectic group of members of all 4 nations? As he looks around.
Sand flies over his shoulders.
So how
now.
do you me and Lee know each other?
Oh, we're brother and sister.
Lee's a girl?
Yes. I've tried my best to do, and I did describe them in detail when you first met them.
That's Al saying it. That's
Oh God, Al says that. I thought that was Dave. No, okay. Al says that, and Lee
I
looks
don't
up.
see gender.
I just don't see the world through that lens, man. I'm from the air nomads. That's not how.
Because like in the North Temple, we only have males. It's weird. Like there's Sister Taka who tells me off all the time, and she's like the resident. I see her when we're out like nomading, but at the temples, it's just
nomading.
It's just
What
guys.
a sausage fest.
Maybe it's because all the women are bald over there. You can't tell. He just gets across the
That's why I didn't know Lee was a woman.
Why is
Lee
Sister
looks
Taka
at you.
so
Long black hair
angry?
tied back in a ponytail, delicate eyeshadow, dressed in robes accentuating her not modest bust. Looks at you and goes, "Sure, okay. Look, it's great that you don't see the world through that. It's quite refreshing."
Cool. I'm gonna go fly off now.
Fly into a hole.
Lee looks over. Lee looks over at you, and then me sort of points at Shurva and goes, "Do you know that she's a she?"
She's always in armor.
So thick coat.
Yes, but she is a she.
Al flies off.
I was like, I can't deal with 2 genders right now. Like, I only have had to deal with one my whole life, living in the Northern Air Temple.
Like, I changed the subject to avoid the question.
Yeah.
But I have a lot more to think about now.
I think we all wish we were like Al. We just had an eject button input, like all situations. Fly off
Just disappear.
immediately.
Oh, dearie me.
He flies
yes.
off, and he's just kind of keeping track of where the ship is, but he's kind of just
Yep.
like lost in thought.
Yep. For those of you who don't know the context, the Air Nomads Temple, the Air Nomad temples are actually gendered. I didn't realize this either until Dave brought this up. So Dave has done his research, so kudos to Dave. The northern and southern temples were female, and was that right? And then the east and west. Oh, were male. The northern and southern were male, and the east and west were female only. I had no idea about that little piece of lore. That's really cool. So Al, being a sort of, you're 16, 17, aren't you, Al?
Yeah.
Yeah. You haven't done your trip. The air nomads travel around the world at this point. This is your first time leaving the Northern Air Temple. So yeah, for you, this is like, what?
yeah. He's thinking, do I have a sister? Is this?
I mean, in your culture,
Who's
everyone's
my
your
mother?
family. In the Air Temple, everyone is family. Everything is connected. Everyone is your family.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's right. Monkey Arts told us everything's connected.
Yes.
That's what Al thought when he saw the patterns in the sand. It's like it's all connected.
It's not that you don't know what females are. It's just that you've not met too many females at this point in your life. So yeah, you're probably like, what are you? Especially and Shurva in like full armor. It's like full Fire Nation armor. You're like, wow, that's a tough man.
I don't know how I feel about the whip, but like it's yeah.
Awakening something.
Moving on. So
Okay.
yeah, I'll heads up and begin sort of keeping an eye on the fox spirit as the rest of you keeping the sand ship on track, following the fox spirit. Before too long, you guys actually catch up to the fox servant. You are moving faster than it in a sand ship with Rung doing his sand bending. You actually are faster than it. Before too long, you can see the fox servant is actually coming closer and closer as they catch up to the fox servant, sort of moving along in its loping run. And as you guys crest the top of a sand dune and begin heading down the other side, you can see it at the bottom of the sand dune, just doing this loping run, sort of moving along, almost a little bit like a canter. So these like two side feet moving together, so left side, right side. This long loping run. And you can see in front of you, only sort of 20, 30 meters away. And the sand ship begins coming closer and closer. And as it hears you, sort of ears twitching from the sound of the sand ship moving across the desert sands, it stops and turns and then sits. And as you guys come up close, it sits and looks at you guys in a bit of bewilderment.
I'll land next to the ship, next to the fox.
Yeah. The fox sort of looks at you, has this large, intricate scroll in its mouth. Now that you guys are a little bit closer to it, you can see that the markings on this scroll are actually water tribe.
Get the net. But he's looking at like, he doesn't know, but like, I'm guessing it looks bluish. He's just looking at Oki.
It's the spirits. So it's not see-through. It looks like a cross between a wolf and a fox. So these quite large, definitely wolf-sized, grey sandy brown fur, but the long fox tail and a very sort of fox head, quite narrow snout, very pointy ears. And as you say, get the net run, it goes, oh. Ears go back. It looks at you, looking a bit sad.
Okay, don't get the net then. And he winks.
One ear comes up, one ear stays down.
Okay, fine. If we can get that, this thing seems smarter than other people I know.
Sort of turns its head, cocks it as if to sort of look at you, like judging whether or not it's smarter than you, and then it turns away from you, Rung.
I'll also look and cocks his head at the same time.
It does it to mirror you, Al.
Yep. Everyone's cocking their heads.
All six of us are here just like looking absolutely mental at this fox.
Me jumps off the boat and bows very deeply before the fox spirit. Goes, oh, great seeker of knowledge. We were wondering if you could take us to the library of Wan Shi Tong. Sort of gives you a bit of an appraising glare, drops the scroll, and starts panting.
We didn't even have to prostrate ourselves to do it.
Lee looks over at you guys and goes, I do suggest showing the seeker of knowledge some modicum of respect.
He goes, okay, I'll prostrate myself, and he gets down low again in front of him.
Al joins in. He sees this, he's like, oh, this must be what we're doing.
When in Rome, drop Bolto goes into.
You guys bow. The fox spirit sort of gets up on its hind legs, still sitting, and has its paws up and goes, and then sort of waves its hand a little bit at each of you, then gets back down and picks up the scroll and begins walking off. After it gets a few paces away, it stops and turns and looks back at you guys who... if you're following Al, it sort of nods, but the rest of you guys, if you're not following, it turns and looks back and then sort of looks forwards, looks back at you guys, looks forwards, takes a few steps.
I'll start. I'll hop in the sand ship. Just start heaving it out a little bit. It's like, oh, this is easy, guys. Oh, there's plenty of times. He's trying to like impress Lee and me. He's like, he just gestures over to the waterbender and such.
Trying to impress.
Yeah.
Are we? All right.
He wants to come up as like the captain of like the desert. Like, yes, I've been on a sand ship many times before.
Yeah,
they were
you're
just
pushing your luck.
hard sands before.
I'm going to say you're pushing your luck or you're tricking an NPC. Your choice.
I feel like I'm always pushing my luck, so I'm going to go with that consistently. There we go. Push luck. Bump. Submit. Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Rung-Bolo 10. Yeah, something clicks. Like probably the thrill of showing off for someone kind of like gets you a little bit excited. And your bending is a little bit stronger than normal as you sort of push up. A gout of sand pushes the airship up and then begins pushing it forwards. You have to sort of run a little bit to jump on, and then you begin sand bending that vortex once again to keep the ship moving. Yeah, the fox spirit, seeing you guys back in the sand ship and actually going quite fast, it picks up the pace and begins running. As you guys follow the fox, it leads you over the crest of another dune, and then in front of you can see this wall of sand and wind blowing rapidly in front of you. The edge of a lighter sandstorm. Beyond it, you think you can see the shadowy outline of what looks to be a city. This massive structure with turrets and towers, almost like a grand palace, but just the shadow of it beyond this whipping wind and sand. As the fox spirit approaches, it just passes through into the wind and disappears through the sand.
I was jogging right next to the fox, right?
Yes.
Yep. I'll continue, and he's like, so are you a boy fox or a girl fox? And as you walk through the...
Yeah. as you hit the wall of sand, I'm going to need you to mark me a fatigue, and I also need you to... Could you please roll me a... Well, actually, you just walked into it, didn't you?
Yeah, I kind of trusted the fox and just did the exact same thing the fox did.
Yeah, so can you mark me a fatigue?
Yep.
And you are blown and buffeted and sent hurling back away from this as the wind and the sand strikes you and pushes you away, throwing you into the sand as your robes sort of come up over your head. I can see you've already got foolish marked. That stays. Yeah.
You can argue I lose my foolish for doing something brazen, like running into the thing, and then get my foolish back by getting...
Oh, that's a good... Do you know what? Let me have a quick look. Let me see. Let's see if I'll see if I allow this. So specifically, to lose that, what do you need to do? You need to clear foolish. Take foolhardy action without talking to your companions. Yeah, do you know what? I will let you clear it. That was fucking foolhardy as shit. Yeah, go. Yeah, you can clear it.
Cool.
You guys watch as Al just goes rolling, tumbling head over heels, getting sand inside his robes, on his face, as the wind is sort of blowing and buffeting the outside of this large, shadowy palace beyond.
Can I roll to land on my feet after rolling? Like rolling, tumble, and see if I can get up without looking foolish?
Yes. I will say you can. You're going to be pushing your luck.
Okay.
I will allow this.
Leave.
7.
Leave.
Yeah. As you are sent rolling, you are able to catch yourself. Let me just quickly see what the consequences for pushing your luck and failing are. I'm going to hit you do it, but it costs you to scrape by. Yeah, so I will say that actually then the fatigue is your consequence for scraping by. The fatigue you took is your consequence. As you sort of roll, you begin airbending and just catch yourself and land on your feet, and then this whole bunch of sand goes whoom, out of your clothes that have gotten caught up as you did a bit of a roll.
I do a bit of like a gymnast landing.
Okay, amazing. Arms up in the air. Yeah, absolutely. The sand ship is now getting closer and closer to the wall of sand. Rung, are you going to continue pushing on through, or do you plan on slowing down and stopping?
He's like, as he's like going, he's like, oh, guys, what do we think? Do we just blast through this thing? Epic. Make our way over to our friend. He's like not showing any sign of slowing down right now, but he is asking everyone else if they would like him to stop himself.
I'm fairly certain that sandstorm will shred the sail if we try and go through that.
Alright.
Can we pull down this sail?
Yeah.
So we can just like...
2 ropes, whoom, and the sails just roll up immediately.
Yeah. How do we go without the sail? Like, can we still, like, if we do that, can we still push it through just without the sail? And it'll just be like...
You can definitely get off and push it through, absolutely. And you could try and sand bend towards the sides to keep the sand moving, but it's going to be a lot slower than with the sails.
Yeah. I say we take it through with us so we don't lose it to anyone mischievous or any of those vulture things we've been hearing about. I'll be happy to sand bend it through. And just like keep sliding this through the windstorm with us, this boat.
Mako, I can see you shaking your head. Do you have anything to say?
That seems like a lot more effort than it will normally acquire, which seems like a lot already.
Well, if you guys want, we can just leave the boat here and fingers crossed nothing bad happens to it.
Yeah.
Can we see the temple on the other side, or?
Shadowy behind the whipping winds and the sand, you can see this vast structure behind. Turrets and towers and these vast ceilings rising high above these domed ceilings.
So, is it safe for you to go up a little bit higher and just sort of see, like, is this storm localized? Is it like around the kingdom? Or is it like, just a single wall? Like, how thick is it? Just sort of see what we're up against.
Would I'll be able to hear that from not on the boat?
Yes. You're right up. You're right up next to it. Like at this point,
Okay.
you guys have caught up, and you are now just stopped outside the edges of this buffeting wind.
Well, I can try. I was also thinking about just using my glider to like smash an air blast through in time with you guys to try and make an opening. But if you guys are stopped, or if they're going, like, if you're stopped, I can have a quick scout.
Knew I should have kept going. The answer is always speed.
Please feel free to assess the situation.
Yep.
Where is it?
If you had kept going, it would have been like the wheelbarrow all over again.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah, you're right, actually.
I'm
Well,
thinking.
But in a good way. That is a 6.
I like that.
The storm goes on forever. There is no end to the storm. As you fly up and begin looking around, it just covers everything in front of you.
Al reports back. He actually uses those exact words. The storm goes on forever. There is like no end to it.
This is a bigger problem than we ever imagined.
All right, let's just go back to the cultural hub and have some cactus juice.
Cultural hub of the desert.
The cultural hub of the desert. Yeah.
Lee and me, do you guys know anything about this sandstorm? Do you know if it's, a regular occurrence or if it's like a temporary kind of thing?
No, there is nothing about this in any of the scrolls. I have no idea. This is unlike anything we were expecting. I'm not sure what this is.
Well, I think the boat should survive if we just push it on through real quick, right? You get a bit of wind up behind it if it doesn't get too mixed up in there, and we get it on through. High down, batten down the hatches. We've got the net. The net will save everything. Get the net over all our stuff, hold it down in the wind, type the sails, push it through, guide it through, glide it in easy.
What about us?
We could.
What about
tie
us?
ourselves to the ship.
That's the boat through. We have to be outside of the boat pushing it, right?
Or we could stay on the boat and do it. Like, either one works to me. Like, I'm happy with either or.
Cool. So
You could do some fire blasting, maybe. You could, like, fire blast the sand in front of us and turn it into, like, stone.
You know what's really good? In really high dense winds, fire.
Turning it into glass. It's making glass shards like knives that fly forwards. Yeah, it's a brilliant idea. Yeah.
That's terrifying.
I'm going to turn myself into sashimi.
What if this was a blender?
What if I turned these winds into machine gun fire?
He gets a feeling maybe. Okay, so we could push it. I'm just saying that my thing is, if we leave the boat out here, we could lose the gushiest, moistiest boat we have.
The quench.
Poet. Amazing.
Which is
I mean, it's
everything
not
else
so
but
much-
that.
It's not so much leaving the boat that's the issue. It's regardless on if we have the boat, if we don't have the boat, we're still gonna get our asses beat by
Not
this
necessarily.
sandstorm.
Not necessarily.
What about the towels I got? And he shows his towels for everyone.
Nope. I think we got a better idea. When we were in this state, like we were in that dome.
Ah.
Oh.
That's
we
a great.
try
That
and-
noise is like
Was an
Rung
idea.
having an idea.
I literally just thought that if we do that stone bowl thing, we're literally just turning ourselves into a ping pong bowl in the wind. And we're just going to go rolling off
Half
in
a-
the desert.
Half a dome, and it's grounded in the ground, so we'll be fine.
Stones.
Pirates of the
Okay,
Caribbean, that shit.
Yeah, Pirates of the
Yeah.
Caribbean.
Ah. Blue mean eyes. Good idea.
The question is,
I like
how
it.
do we keep the boat here without it being?
Oh,
We've
actually-
obviously put the dome over the boat, obviously.
Or can we just Pirates of the
Can
Caribbean
you
the
do
boat?
that?
Like, can we like just temporarily disconnect the mast, flip the boat over the top of us, and we can all just walk through the shit in the storm?
Is it like
How
a
big's the
catamaran?
boat?
It's a catamaran, so it's got 2 pontoons and then a platform between them.
We can totally
Are the
do that.
pontoons
Oh.
hollow?
That's
No.
doable.
Well, I mean, they are hollow, but not not like with openings for people to sit in. They're sealed, but they're hollow.
Solid stone pontoons.
Yeah.
I like the
Cool.
idea of like
Pontoon.
pretty much like making our
Hang on.
boat look like Patrick's house, right? But hollow from the inside.
I was just thinking, right? So technically, we can do that. So we get the sail, and we drape the sail on either side of like the opening to like, so it's got like the the flats part that forms the catamaran, the 2 U shapes that form the pontoons, and then there's this empty section that we can all huddle in, make like a pseudo tent front and back. We have the boat, we get to move the boat, we can still use some sand ending to sort of lighten the load, and we can all like huddle under the boat.
I don't wanna-
Stop.
I really don't want to risk the sail, so why don't we just use the tarp?
Actually,
Yeah, the top.
Could
have we even felt what the wind feels like?
You look at Arl, who's now got a bruise on his cheek.
I was there before. I'll see.
I
Could
like
the
say that I
airbender-
put my hand in it, just like, oh yeah, obviously I trust you.
You put your hands in it.
He does it because he trusts you. He puts a hand in, like just like to the side, like I'm sure it's not that bad.
Yeah.
At that moment, I pick up a rock
Mark
at
of
the same
fatigue for
time
me
and
as
throw
you
it
are
in.
sent, as your hand is sent whipping back. Mark of fatigue for me. As you do that, it hurts. The wind rips at your arm and muscles. Yeah, as you do that, Me turns towards you and goes, could the airbender not do some like airbending to move the air away from us? Like make like a
Al realizes that he's the airbender that they're referring to. Does Al get a sense that this is like a natural air, or is this like he would know airflow?
Yeah, I would say that Al, the storm seems very strong, but it's not moving. It's literally almost like a wall of wind. Something is not right about this. That seems odd to you. But you still think you could airbend it. You could still bend the wind around you if you wanted to try and make a tunnel through it or to
Okay,
make
I guess
yourselves a protective dome.
Al decides that he's going to try what he was going to do if the boat was going to keep going. He goes back maybe 20 meters and does like a gymnast run up and some flips. Just it's the airbending form.
Yep.
And he does like a somersault or two, and with the final like landing, he like has his glider and goes whoosh into the.
Oh yeah! Could I get you to
the-
roll with passion, please, Al? Do it.
I am not a passionate
Do it.
person.
7.
It's a 7 with
Al.
my minus. So
As you what was that? Sorry, -1.
no, that is with including.
That is with a -1. As you slam down your glider, for a moment the winds are pushed aside. You can see that this corridor of cloud and wind and storm is only a meter or two thick. It's almost like a shell of storm around this. And as you blast through with your push of air, it basically breaks the storm front for a few seconds. And then for sort of 4 or 5 seconds, there's this empty corridor leading straight through. You can see on the other side this beautiful palace constructed of marble. Towers rising high above the desert, massive open front entrance, and the fox is sitting on the stairs with its head cocked looking at you. And then the wind reforms and covers the section again.
So Al counted 1 elephant, 2 elephant,
Yeah,
3
4
elephants.
elephants.
4 elephants. Okay. He looks
More
at the others.
elephants.
I think we can make it.
But what do we do about the elephants in there?
Oh, God.
We already got wind to worry about. The bruise.
I would say Rung.
Now we're
I
going
would
to
say Rung.
elephants.
You've never heard of an elephant before. Elephant shark? Elephant koi? Yeah. Elephant. Weird.
Mysterious.
It's short for elephant koi, but elephant is like the same as 1 second, and Monk Yatso taught me how to do that to count how far away the lightning was.
Always was taught 1 coal, 2 coal, 3 coal.
Or, perhaps
I think that's just counting coal.
We don't go very high.
Lee sort of looks
Usually
at you
put it in
guys
the
and
car and
goes.
push it.
Lee looks at you guys and goes. Perhaps if we kept the sand ship moving at a rapid pace, you could come down, create that blast of air again, and we could quickly sail through.
Done. That's. I'll think to himself. That was my idea in the first place. I was going to do. But yeah, let's do it. You guys want to go back and do a run up? I'll time it.
Always knew speed was the key. He's like, he gets back, he's like, shh, pushing the boat back over the sand to get a good run up.
Yep.
Can I do? Here's the plan.
Yes, you can. Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Here's the
Do I
plan.
roll?
When you work out a plan with someone, yep, you worked out a plan. Roll with creativity. Yeah, please roll with creativity.
Come on. Yes, 10.
Hey!
On a 10 plus, hold 3. So you can aid someone. You can spend.
3,
You've got
that's
3 that you can spend. If anyone's got conditions, you could nullify those bad boys now if you wanted.
It says reduce the fatigue.
Would you say
they would
Fatigue
mark.
is a condition?
What was that? Sorry.
Fatigue is fatigue a condition?
No. Fatigue is fatigue.
So I can get rid of guilty.
As you guys begin getting a run up, I'll probably save it for the +1s that you can add to rolls. Given I'm going to need
that's what
2
I was
rolls.
thinking.
Rung, I'm going to need you to roll with skills and training. I'm going to get you to roll with skills and training as well.
Easy, comes natural.
Oh,
Natural
you-
for the
you-
run.
Sorry, go on.
no, that was it. I think that was all Rung was saying.
You see Al like maybe 20 minutes back, arms at the sides doing the
9.
gymnast thing, just pumping himself up. And
Did you want to give that a +1, Al, to make it 10?
I would love to.
So Rung gets a 10.
I would
Al,
also
you
like to make mine a 7.
Would you like to give a +1 and make yours a 7?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I would.
As the
Rung and
sand
Al
ship
pushing
begins,
boats.
as the sand ship begins moving towards the wall of sand, the storm front, me and Lee clutch the edges of the pontoon, wrapping their notes up and stuffing them in their robes to try and protect them from the wind. Shurva and Mako and Oki, what are you 3 doing while the sand ship begins speeding towards the wall of the storm?
Sorry, I sort of blanked out for a second. Was there
Don't
a
worry
roof
about it.
condition for something?
I'll can potentially negate a condition that you might otherwise suffer by heading into the storm, or he can reduce the fatigue you might have to mark by 1, depending on how this goes.
Cool.
Yeah, but
We'll see.
Al also needs to get through afterwards, so he might need to save that roll for himself.
Al might save that roll for himself.
Yeah. What can I do at this point?
Up to you.
I think
Did you wanna try and
Oki might
cling
be
on?
steering if she can.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, perfect. Shurva. Just holding on for dear life.
I feel so useless. Like,
Do you want to use your whip to tie yourself to the mast? Do you want to use your whip to
Tie her
tie
and
Mako
Mako.
to the mast?
Whoa!
Tie Mako. Tie Mako to the mast with your whip.
And then, like,
A bit
Yeah.
Bayonetta up in here.
Yeah, use your whip to tie yourself or Mako to the mast. You could just hold Mako, use the weight of your armor to hold Mako against the ship. You could knock him out and turn him into dead weight and chuck him overboard into the storm, let him fare for himself. If you wanted to just tie the whip around his neck and push him overboard, you could drag him behind. There's a lot of things you could do.
You could stand
make
up front.
very persuasive points.
Not my
I
boat.
wanted to offer you 2 positive, 2 negative for Mako, so as to remain
You
balanced.
whip benders to make them go faster.
Yeah, you could whip Rung. Yeah, whip Rung to make him. Yeah,
You'd be like, yes, more.
yeah. You've got some
Oh
special.
my god.
You've got some special
What if-
moves too, Shurva, don't forget you've got some special moves too. Do any of those apply to us here?
Actually,
Looks
yeah,
like
that's
you've
a good
got.
point.
Yeah, you've
Not
got.
really.
What are your special moves? Have you chosen 2 of your special moves?
Yeah, so I have Badge of Authority and
Catch a Liar, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you could Badge of Authority the storm. Let me pass.
Oh, my dad is a lawyer.
I'm captain of the guard. You
You'll
shall
hear about
let
this.
me pass. My father will hear this. Yeah, exactly.
Oh yes, he's back.
If you just want to
You know who
basically
my
have
father is?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of things you could do.
You go for seeing just come behind the wall when we bust through. That'd be brilliant.
I will tie myself to the mast, and in each arm I will hold Lee and me.
You've picked new wards, have you? Yeah, they listen to you.
Not officially, but
But
I
yeah.
know Mako won't just sit still. And I feel like these two, like
Actually.
they're only students. I'm pretty sure they're not benders. They haven't shown any evidence of bending. So
Yeah.
they probably need to be taken care of a bit more than Mako in this situation.
Yeah, they cling to you, and you can hear me whispering a little prayer under her breath to the Earth Queen to protect her. She like clutches into you, holding your armor.
Wait, me
Mako,
was the-
Babies!
Mako, you see this, and probably a bit of you's like, oh,
He's a little bit jealous.
I used to get to be able to be held like that.
A single tear is blown away.
All right, Mako, for his turn, chooses to cry. I will mark that off. Beautiful. Mako,
yeah,
you can mark the condition. What do we reckon?
Sad.
Foolish? Sad? I think sad.
Insecure!
Insecure.
No.
Afraid.
There is a little bit of like, okay. But I am gonna go just lay down somewhere where there's a tarp or something and just wrap that over me.
Just Mako just crawls under a tarp. Yeah.
Just just lie under it.
Well,
like,
isn't the sail down on the boat because we took it down?
Yeah. Mako just crawls
You
into the
can
sail.
just crawl
Kelly
under
stuff
the
up
sail.
into the sail.
Just like, yep, this is good enough for me.
Amazing. Yeah, so
Crying underneath
as
it.
you guys begin heading through, at the last second, just as the tip of the sand ship is about to strike the wall, you begin to feel it begin rattling. Aal drops down like a lightning bolt from the heavens and smashes this wind blast through, which separates the storm wall for just a moment. The ship skids on through, striking the side and doing a bit of a turn, but passing through otherwise unscathed. While you are all shaken about a little bit, none of you suffer any ill effects. Aal, you then have to quickly roll and begin running through. I need you to push your luck. As you are spinning through and coming into this at high speed.
Just for flavor, when like Al rolls, he's like pushed air bending from his feet to jet him forward, so his like dodge roll was like a bit
Ooh.
faster than the normal one. Yep.
Okay, very nice. Yeah.
Spicy.
And that is a 5, and it
Yep.
doesn't matter what I add to that, so I will not add anything. I will still hold my hold.
Okay, you'll hold it. I'll just as your hand is reaching out from the other side to try and catch them, the storm wall closes once again, sending you spinning. You would be marking the condition foolish. However, if you wanted to spend your last here's the plan bonus to prevent that condition being marked, you can.
How long can I hold this hold? It doesn't actually say. Like,
It doesn't say. So I would say while
would
the
you say I
plan is
can
being
hold it
enacted.
until I get in, or
I'd
since
say
we
until
only
the plan is
discussed the
finished.
plan?
Yeah. When
So does the plan include me getting into the library, or is the plan finishing after this like set of?
I think from the sounds of things, your plan was to get past the storm wall. So once you're past the storm wall, that's the plan. Like that was your plan.
Okay, so I could save it with my next attempt to get through.
So you're still at this point you're not on either side. You're now in the storm wall itself. It is closed in on you. So what I'm getting you to do is to mark foolish, and then unless you want to spend it, and then you're going to be spat out inside where they are.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. I'll avoid.
Because you were
I thought it was
almost
split
out.
up.
Like you were almost there when the storm wall closed in on you. Because you had 4 seconds. So
Okay, yep. I'll spend my last hold to prevent foolish.
yep. You guys watch as Arl begins tumbling forwards and then bumps into the side of the boat, coming to a stop as the sand ship sort of comes to a stop in front of the large library. Yeah, the fox spirit.
Let's
fox
do
spirit's
that
sitting
again.
there. Let's do that again. The fox spirit's
Wagging
sitting there
its
watching
tail.
you, a bit curious, sort of like looking as you come spinning through again, Arl. And then it gets up and walks through the doors.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think there's an easier way? Like, it sort of wandered through. Like, I think if it was so intelligent, knew some stuff we didn't. I think it'll tell us to take the back door or something. I don't know. It's a bit too much effort to get into this place.
I think we overcomplicated that a little bit, but that's fine for next time. I think we can just put
Just
a
a bit.
wall up.
Or, in hindsight, a tunnel.
Yeah.
You know what? I did think about the giant dome, so I'll say that my idea always stood the entire time. Next time, we'll dig a tunnel through the sand, a mile long.
No, just needs to be like 2 meters.
2
I
miles
think.
long.
I think it was 2 meters.
2 miles long, just to be safe.
That's it. We're in the cultural hub
under
of the
the whole
desert
thing.
to here. We'll make this a
Me
tourist
and Lee,
attraction.
at this point, are just ignoring you. They are chatting, looking excitedly, holding up diagrams, like comparing it, going, yes, I see the eastern wing. That's where the planetarium is. We'll have to go check out the planetarium. Yes, and obviously, we head to the archives first, right? Heading to the archives, and then we'll check out some of the other sites. Yes, I agree completely, yes. And they, ignoring you, begin running up the steps into the library.
I'll yell stop.
You're welcome.
As you sort of yell out stop, they sort of come to a halt and look back and go, what are you waiting for? What's going on?
So I don't know if you noticed that big wall of air on the way in.
Yeah.
Like, that could be one of many traps in there. You should wait for us. I mean, like, we want to get you out of here because, it would suck for you guys to die in there.
Especially on the way to the planetarium.
So I'm going to get you to... You can choose either plead or intimidate an NPC.
Plead.
Plead,
I think
okay.
Al's just a bit short on diplomacy, so that's why he's just a bit more frank. So 8.
8. They pause and Me is like, no, we should go in. And Lee stops and goes, I think he raised a good point. Perhaps we should wait and that these very capable people help. Okay, yes. We've waited 18 months. We can wait a few minutes more, I guess.
Good, sweet. Well, I've got my net. He slings like the net around like his sort of like torso, so around his back, sort of buckling it. And here's a towel each, and he grabs some towels and he flicks out some towels to people. Never know, you might find a pool in there. And he grabs some snacks on the way in.
Can't forget the snacks.
Oh yeah, and it's like he throws you some like he was going to throw you some jerky. Then he's like, wait a second, jerky eggplant, and tosses it your way.
Wait,
Sorry,
eggplant
did you say
jerky?
Jerky eggplant. It's just
Oh,
eggplant
you guys haven't had
chips.
eggplant jerky?
It's just eggplant chips.
Al sees this and thinks this is the greatest thing ever. He's so excited to eat it.
It's just veggie chips. It's just veggie chips. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Oki, Mako, Shurva, you guys heading up the steps? Awesome
I
sauce.
think, yeah, she's just trying to take in. Oh, go ahead.
I'll walk up last behind them just in case they fall.
Yep, absolutely. Mako, I'm guessing you're sort of staying a bit close to Shurva or just fucking running in at full speed?
I'll stay a bit closer.
For once, Shurva. Yeah, and you guys begin walking in. As you pass through the hallway, the light spilling in from behind you illuminates this incredible tower before you, this central spire. Below you and above you, you can see rows and rows of bookshelves stretching on to infinity, as well as to the left and right, series of staircases leading up to various rooms. You can see stone signs carved into the walls and the stairs, designating a number of different spots: a planetarium, an archive, lower archive. There's bending scrolls, and then there is histories. There are all sorts of various directions marked in. You can see that the floor itself has grooves that lead from each of these words, so you can sort of follow a pathway to get to where you need to go. As you step in, you can see the fox spirit is still sitting there waiting for you. It looks back, gives a sort of wag of the tail, and then rushes forwards and begins running up the side of one of the walls. disappearing into one of the catacombs above.
Creep.
Cool. Been perved on by foxes in this temple.
So, does anyone know the rules of this place? Like, usually crazy ass structures in the middle of deserts have rules, at least that's what the stories will say. Is there like, we have to like spin around 3 times and touch the ground before we're allowed to enter, or
I'll spin around
Cursed
3 times
be
and
us.
touch his toes.
I've got my library cup that I've got from school. I don't think we're good here, but I've got it.
Your badge is probably good though. You should definitely show them your badge.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to teach them all about coal-related facts. I hear that he's going to really enjoy those things.
You begin to hear the sound of feathers flapping, and a dark shape falls from above. This massive black-winged owl lands on the pathway in front of you, white face like a barn owl, but black plumage. And as it stands before you, sort of flapping its wings, curls them behind you and looks down at each of you.
Well, welcome to my library.
Al spins around 3 times and touches his toes again.
Is
I'll
this
play my
some
library
type
card.
of human superstition?
I bow down and say thank you for having us. After like being like the defensive pose from like when the shadow came over me to like a bowing.
Yeah, I mean, me and Lee are doing the exact same thing. The second that this figure appears, they immediately bow as well, and
I'll
straight away going,
prostrate myself as
No,
well.
mine's just like a bend like at the hips.
Oh, bend at the hips. Okay, yeah. Well, they're doing a much more sort of deep
Yeah.
bow, and yeah, they sort of look up and go, "Oh, Wan Shi Tong, it is an honor. Thank you for having us in your library. We were hoping that we could peruse your collection."
And have you brought something for me to see?
Oh, you need to see it?
Do you know?
It is traditional to bring knowledge to access the library of Wan Shi Tong.
I'm staring bullets over at Mako right now. if I could be like flicking standard in while I'm like frustrated, I feel like
Hang on one second. Does someone have pen and paper I can borrow?
I thought you meant in
Yeah.
person. Like, wait, we're so far away.
No.
Maybe Lee and me, being students, have some pen and paper.
Yeah. Me and Lee will sort of like a little bit dazed and stunned as you say that, Shurva, going like, maybe me and Lee would have some paper. They sort of look back at you and go, "Oh, yes, of course." Lee hands over a sheet of paper and a quill.
I pick it up and start writing frantically.
What do you write?
I start writing about the Fire Nation's plans. From what I heard about on the boat.
Okay.
The fact that their spiritual weapon that they're going to use.
I feel like that's probably not a good idea.
No.
Go and learn today.
No. Don't worry. And I just draw a diagram.
What do you draw a diagram
Oh,
of?
no, not a diagram, just to draw an
Buff
image
Mako, just on the bottom.
of the
Fitting the nations.
no, of the thing that, well, it's your symbol, but the thing in the cabin.
Yeah, the symbol that you saw, the energy bending symbol, spirit bending
Yep.
symbol. Yeah. As Wan Shi Tong
I
looks
try to
down
like
upon-
hide this from those, like everyone else though. So like I'm sort of like
Oh, okay.
just being like
Um,
my own little thing, like just curled, like hunched over, like just writing whatever I have.
Yeah.
And if I
I'm-
feel,
I'm gonna get you to roll me, to keep it hidden from them. I'm gonna get you to roll me trick.
Mhm.
My
Can
question
we-
is, as Mako begins, like he literally walks back a few paces, sits down, and begins furiously writing. What are the rest of you doing? Me and Lee immediately hold up papers and pass it over. And as Wan Shi Tong bends down and examines them, he brings out a wing and moves it across, and the paper disappears from their hands as the wing passes over.
Wait,
Very nice, very nice. These will make a fine addition to the collection. You may enter. Enjoy the library.
And they immediately begin running past and head deeper into
Nope,
the
that
other.
does
Just
not
literally going,
apply.
"Oh,
Cool.
thank
Well-
you, great one."
actually.
We'll catch up with you guys later. We'll see you in a bit. Bye.
They don't.
Right there.
They don't
Do
seem
we
to hear.
all need to bring something, of course, everyone?
Okay. Yeah, these guys all seem very distracted, and as they're sort of focusing, you smash out the rest of this document, and then
And I'd
head on
like
up and
to
present it.
have a second one, with another half of the information, have it in two.
Okay.
The less incriminating on just the spiritual stuff, their plans with the spiritual thing. And hand
Do you
that
know
to-
what their plans are with the spiritual thing? What have you written? Because I don't think you know.
Well, their plan was to use that to get through the walls of Ba Sing Se.
Yeah, okay. That's what you know, yeah.
That's what I know, and I hand that to Shurva.
You hand it to Shurva. Nice. Okay, so you... Okay. Shurva, yeah, Mako just hands you a document. And as you look at it, you can read that it talks about... it shows the symbol, and it basically says, the Fire Nation are planning on using this symbol and something to do with spirits to try and breach the walls of Ba Sing Se. I don't know how, but it's something like that.
And I submit mine about their plan, their plans, everything that's happened so far that we know of.
Yeah. Again, the feather comes down over. The feathers are incredibly soft, Mako and Shurva. As they pass over your hands, you feel the documents being picked up and moved away. Wan Shi Tong sort of looks down at you both and goes,
Interesting. I guess military strategies and plans count as knowledge.
Before that happened, can I use the quill just to write at the bottom of the page, Candace?
And who is Candace?
God fucking damn it. Stop. You need to stop. You're no.
This name does not count as knowledge. Please leave my library and never return.
No, he doesn't say that. He doesn't say that. I'm kidding.
That'd be amazing.
No, he doesn't say that. He looks towards Rung-Al and Oki at this point. He gestures with a wing for you two both to enter and then turns towards Rung-Al and Oki.
Well, do you have anything to submit to my library?
I'm still writing. I write about the fish now. About how there's the spirit fish in the center of the glacier.
You have already provided knowledge.
One sec. Pass it over to Oki.
Thank you.
I do already know about the ocean spirit who resides in this desert. However, I did not know that the fish had been moving as far west as the Misty Palms Oasis. This is interesting knowledge, and something I would like to investigate further. This is a worthy contribution to the library. You may enter.
Cheers. And Oki is now frantically racking her brain to think if she had anything
Wan
else.
Shi Tong, he who knows 10,000 things.
Oh,
And what of you, my airbender and earthbender? Do you have knowledge to contribute?
I can teach you a little rhyme. I tell the kids at the air temple, and we've been using that, and I made this one up.
If I do not know it, and I deem it culturally significant, then yes, that will count as new knowledge.
Okay. So we started this a while ago, and we say it to the kids every night before bed, and we say, we love our air, we love to flutter, but most of all, we love each other. And then we all go to bed.
Dave. I'm going to need you to roll me. I'm going to need you to roll me plead with an NPC.
And I would absolutely call Madeline.
Yeah. We all got the Madeline
Let's do this
reference.
with plead? Yeah.
Plead.
I have so many
Hiya.
things I could write, just give up
There's a
right
7?
now.
7. Wan Shi Tong looks down at you, sort of frown creasing his brow.
I guess this counts as knowledge. You may enter. And you,
I'll
earthbender.
myself.
This is a bit of an unknown fact, because not many people try it out apart from people from my clan. Coal mining town supplies coal for everyone, as everyone's industrializing their cars.
I care
A lot of
not
people have heard of
for
the
what
possible use of carbon.
humans deem progress.
Well, progress is something you're going to enjoy about this because everyone uses ink, a finite resource. Some even use carbone to write with, also a finite resource.
You're
That's
not
something that
very
never runs
bright,
out.
are you?
Is as he says this, he pulls out his coal pencil. Coal, a wondrous rock that can do anything. Write, burn, keep you warm when you're getting cold. When you're writing out your notes for 20 minutes, a long session of writing. I submit to you my coal pencil, one of a kind, until I make another.
You're not very bright, are you?
Like, after this passes, I just walk up to Rung and pat him on the chest with like a piece of paper.
Also,
like,
if it doesn't suffice, I have this. Mum always said maybe the coal dust got to me as a kid, but I don't believe she was right.
As long as your friends and companions keep an eye on you, I am happy, or I will tolerate your presence in my library.
You can take this extra piece.
Good enough for me. Thank you.
Let me see this piece of paper, Firebender.
Yep.
He's like does this awkward shuffle from as you're passing it over.
This one's that the Daily replaced all the guards in the estate moments before they attacked.
I will accept military knowledge. Yes, this will count. But please, try not to let your Earth Nation friend muck around with too many scrolls. And if I find dirty footprints through any part of the archives, there will be words.
We'll keep an eye on.
Please.
Quick question.
Yes.
That image I drew. Is there any information I can find on that here?
Yes. You head down to the lower archive into the histories. You will learn more about the origins of the symbol. If you were to head into the Bending and Bender's Nation section around to the west, you will learn about its symbolism and potential meanings. I have seen this symbol many times before. Generally represents energy bending. Spirit bending, as it's sometimes called. Long before humans bent the elements to their will, lion turtles bent the spirit, bent energy. This is, of course, an era long before the Avatar, before the spirit worlds, human worlds were separated.
Thank you. We'll be on our way now.
Very well.
Go to shake his wing. Dirty cold fingertips.
I just slowly push his hand down.
Please enjoy the library and wipe your hands before you touch any scrolls.
Your his arms are just like black. Shoulders are. Anytime, mister. No,
that will suffice.
And with that, you see Wan Shi Tong spread his wings with a powerful flap, propel himself into the air, and then disappear over the side of one of the catwalks, moving down towards one of the lower
Shurva
archives.
also disappears.
I kind of imagine, for the purposes of the fact that clearly Bree's had like some sort of power failure, Shurva's just sort of looking out over the edge, like looking at the sheer volume of books, just overwhelmed by the sight of this incredible structure.
I see what you did there. Sheer volume of books.
What is going on here? Did you not realise your camera was on, Bree, when you took a big bite of that? For podcast listeners, Bree's camera dropped out for a few seconds and then came back on again right as she was eating
I just want to see how big it is.
the biggest mouthful of some sort of bread? What am I looking at here?
I hope it's a sandwich.
Sandwich.
Yes.
Sorry, my internet died and I was like talking to my partner, just seeing what was going on, and took
I
the
unplugged
moment
it again.
to
My bad.
take a big bite of my sandwich.
It's just going to like
Is that what it is?
you just like
Yeah.
I think I could hear him laughing from the kitchen as well, where he's watching the stream.
Thanks, man. Shout out to you, Shrupi.
So you know what?
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Anyway,
Yeah,
what did I miss?
One Shitong accepts your knowledge, but you have to keep an eye on the Earthbender, and he can't touch any of the scrolls with his filthy coal hands.
Okay.
Not as a
Not much
judgment
for a
of his,
Lucifer.
not of a judgment of his social status or positioning. Literally, his actual filthy coal hands, because he grabbed out a coal pencil and was handling it. So he literally has filthy coal dust on his fingers. It wasn't. I just want to clear that up. Not a societal judgment, just a practical.
Amazing. Okay.
Oh,
God.
that was brilliant.
Fuck
Yeah,
off.
so, my question is,
I'll read some books.
what do you guys want to do? There's a lot
Well,
of places in the library.
You've stated the two places I really want to go.
What, the planetarium and
No,
Planetarium.
the lower archives and the bending area.
If you're going to the bending area, I'd like to come.
Oki is making a beeline for those bending scrolls.
Yep. Okay, I'll just follow this Oki. He wants
Okay, so
to
we've
look
got-
up to how to fly.
So we've got Arl and Oki heading for the bending scrolls. Rung, Mako, Shurva.
When the scrolls that Oki seen before, were they like just waterbending scrolls, or they were like
you
good
don't
ones
know.
there?
The scroll that the knowledge-seeking fox had in its mouth, the wolf fox had in its mouth, had a water tribe symbol on it. Could have been a waterbending scroll. Could have just been some knowledge from the water tribes. You've got no idea.
Well, I'm happy to go with Oki. I don't want you going by yourself, unless Shurva's going to poke you. Like, or you're gonna be okay, Arl? Like, you'll be alright if I leave you alone. Like, I just want to make sure, like, I'm not leaving anyone by themselves here.
That's alright. I'm
Keep
going
an eye.
with Oki, so it's fine.
Arl's going with Oki.
Okay. Cool. Well, I'm gonna check out this bending place. Like, sling some stone.
That's where we're going.
Okay, so Arl,
Oh, wait,
Rung,
I
and
thought
Oki
Oki was going to the water scroll.
to the scrolls,
I
to
push
the bending
over
scrolls.
aside.
Okay. I'm still in character.
Okay, Mako and
Yeah,
Shurva.
so's Al. It's like, yeah, that's how we're going. Cool. More the merrier.
So Mako.
We're
Sure.
also going to the bending scrolls, aren't we? Trying to find more.
I'm gonna go to the other one first, so that like they don't really see what I'm looking at as much.
Do you say that to
Not
Shurva?
No, that's not what I say.
Okay.
I tell Shurva, can you just please keep an eye on Rung? Make sure he doesn't damage anything. Please.
He's touching some books mid-sentence.
No.
I would like
Yeah.
to spend a protector's burden
Yes.
hold
Oh god, no. What are you
and
doing?
figure out what Mako's up to without him knowing.
Okay. So
Yes.
this is a good use of it. I like this. This is what it's for. So Protector's Burden. Let's just quickly have a quick lookaroo. So Protector's Burden. Sorry.
Word in the bed.
So you're gonna hold. Figure out what they're up to without them knowing. Yeah. So you can spend one of your things to do that. Mako, what are you up to? You have to tell Shurva. Honestly,
Oh. I have to tell her?
you have to tell her what you're up
Yeah.
to. Honestly.
No. No.
Yeah.
It's a really fucking good thing that I have there, hey?
Yeah.
God.
It's good that you've got it
Well,
against good old Susp boy here as well, who's constantly
Yeah.
up to like behind the scenes
The world
sneaky
I
shit.
could
You're just like,
conquer if you didn't
I
have
could
that.
try and figure it out, or I could just spend a point and learn it.
I'm going to go to the lower archive.
Mako, please speak louder so everyone can hear you.
I'm gonna whispering to Shurva.
Yes,
Um,
whispering to Shurva.
I'm gonna go to the lower archives and do some research before everyone else goes there, if they end up going there at all, and hopefully swap spots when they go to leave the bending area, so that what I'm researching doesn't get seen.
Mako,
It's-
that's
it
just
is-
apparent. That's apparent from your behavior. Shurva
That-
specifically
it is
asked,
definitely- it is
"What are you
definitely
up to?"
It's definitely about the bending spirits and like
The ocean spirits. What
And-
about bending
and
the
the-
spirit?
spirit bending and like the fish that we saw. If I can do the wish.
I mean, that's
Um,
also pretty obvious that that's what you're doing.
Yeah, and then also like actually, I'm gonna go look at the passing say walls.
Ah, okay. Good. Interesting.
Truth comes
Um,
out.
I'm also going to see where they got that spirit thing from.
Okay.
and see if I can improve my firebending, obviously.
Okay. Cool.
From the things.
So Mako, you begin heading off on your own. Shurva, once again, you see your ward just take off without saying to you, "Would you like to come with me?"
And I'm going, please look after Rung. Like as I leave, like just please.
Shurva, what do you do? Do you stay with Rung, Al, and Oki, or do you go with your fuckwit of a ward?
Well, for the reference, well, if it helps you decide, you hear Al say to Rung, "Oh, Sister Taka told us that we can't talk in the library, so we can still throw rocks to communicate each other."
Brilliant, Owen. Throw a rock.
As I hear that,
the rock.
like as I'm walking away and I hear that, I just bolt away. I'm like, nah, I'm out of here.
Maybe there's some old notepads around here they don't need anymore, so we can communicate with them. He looks at some books and tries to find any. Actually, no, he doesn't do that. That's a terrible idea. No blank books. Go on.
My God. I will follow Mako, believing that Oki is able and responsible enough to keep the two knuckleheads in line.
Yeah, can I get you to trick an NPC? Because I don't believe a word of what you're saying. No, it's fine. Yeah. Shurva, you and Mako head off. I'll Rung and Oki. We'll get back to you three. We're going to do Mako and Shurva first. Yeah, as you guys get to the steps heading downwards, you can see lower archive carved into the floor, and then basically like a line of stone, a relief line of stone leading down a series of steps, and the two of you begin walking down the steps. The spiral staircase leads you down 4, 5, 6 floors before you come out at a lower section. A few sort of piles of sand up against the edges of the bookshelves, and the scrolls here and the books here look to be ancient. You can see a few of the foxes moving around, sort of checking on the books, brushing away any cobwebs with their tails and moving sand away from the covers with their big bushy tails. And you can see a number of different symbols for the Earth Kingdom, Fire Nation, Water Tribes, Air Nomads, but then these look to be very old versions of those symbols, and as the bookshelves go back, they begin to take on different forms until all of them are just this circular spiral pattern that contains aspects of all 4 elements. And you think this is probably a precursor symbol for the human tribes before bending was separated into different nations. Looks like knowledge goes back a long way here. And that's what you see, Mako and Shurva.
Does this symbol look familiar to something else I might see on stream right now?
You're not there, Rung, and no, it does not. This is not the one underneath my nameplate. That's spirit bending.
Oh, damn, that would have been so cool.
No, that's spirit bending. That's the one Mako saw in the Fire Nation Ironclad. Yeah. So yeah, Mako and Shurva.
Sorry, just taking notes.
Okay. You can always listen back and record and take notes later if you want.
Yeah, true. I should probably. Yeah.
Wow, trying to scam us for extra views.
Homework. Did you subscribe?
Would it work?
130, cool. Okay.
Please make sure if you're listening to update the wiki so that Mako can just pull open the wiki and check it himself every time he needs to know this stuff.
Be grateful.
We do have a wiki, so please feel free to update that.
Yes!
Carry on, Mako.
I'll head back, like probably to the end, as far back as I'm like, before things start to get really like empty.
So you're kind of looking for the founding of the 4 nations area.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm sort of looking for.
Yeah.
And keeping an eye out for the symbol.
Yes. Can I get you to assess the situation for me, please, Mako? And Shurva, what are you doing while Marco's doing this? Are you helping him, or are you just doing your own thing?
I'm standing back. He doesn't know that I followed him.
Why is it always creativity?
I think he probably would have noticed, unless you were deliberately trying to stay out of sight and make sure he didn't know. She's gone.
Bye, guys.
So I get that's how sneaky she was being.
She's eating another sandwich.
It's alright, she'll come back eating a sandwich in a second.
Yeah. Why is it always creativity? Can I just ask that? Yep, there it is.
5. Mako, as you're moving around looking, you're really struggling. The stuff here seems really old. Yeah, as you're looking around, you're not having any luck finding anything of value. Nothing that helps you out. Have you clipped her eating the sandwich?
Nice.
Legends. When you said you were taking notes, you were flat out lying to me, weren't you?
Oh no, that was before. That was way
okay.
like I'm actually taking notes now. Don't worry.
Okay. Well, you've been punished by the dice gods. The dice gods have punished you. You are unable to find that symbol as you are walking around looking.
Okay.
Shurva, you can see Mako sort of moving around looking. My question was, are you trying to deliberately stay hidden from Mako, or were you just following behind?
I'm following behind, but if he sees me, he sees me. If he doesn't, he doesn't.
Oh, okay. He probably then if you're walking down the steps, I mean, he probably would have heard your footsteps coming down behind him, and he would have as he reaches the bottom and begins looking.
Quite sandy there, like
only at the bottom floor.
Mask the sound of my footsteps.
If anything, the sound of sand being kicked up every so often. Can we make this a Twitch emote? Maybe. As you sort of get to the bottom step, Shurva, you can see Mako sort of pouring through, looking down, not really looking a bit confused and a bit frustrated, I would say, as he is struggling to find this symbol.
Yeah. Need a
and what
hand
would you
there,
like
bud?
to do? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, actually.
What exactly are you looking for?
So you know that's big thing that in the cabin where we got the plan, like the maps and everything that we shouldn't have had to begin with, and then we burnt them. There was that big what would you call it? Like a relic that was just hanging over the back of the room.
It was a large piece of tree bark overgrown with moss and lichen that had this symbol etched in it.
Yeah, and he was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna use this to get into Ba Sing Se through the walls.
The symbol that the big owl guy just told us was bending.
Yes. Yeah. But I want to know how that happens, and how if we could stop that.
I mean, fair, but if it's this
Or
hard
use
to find,
that.
if it's this hard to find out how it works, then what makes you think they even know how to use it?
Who knows?
Fair enough. Does this have anything to do with that weird fish thing?
No, that's a different topic. Don't worry about that.
Okay. All right.
That's for me, not for anything else. Don't worry.
All right. Let me help you. We'll start looking around and see if we can find this symbol somewhere.
And then by the way, we're also looking for plans of Ba Sing Se wall. See if there are actually any weak spots.
Why?
So we can actually avoid those.
So we can avoid the weak spots.
Yes, basically. And I'm actually
Sounds like
really
a shit
curious.
lie.
I'm also very curious. They asked the question, I didn't say any, and now I'm just curious.
Okay, so are we finding the weak spots to alert the Earth Kingdom to fix the weak spots, or are we just finding them for shits and gigs?
For me. Just for me.
Why do you want that?
I mean, where else am I going to learn it?
Why do you need to learn it?
I don't. But
Okay.
Knowledge is power, right?
No! Not
Here
that
it is.
knowledge!
Here it
Ignorance
is.
is bliss.
Fuck me dead. Okay, I'm not helping you search for the weak points of the Ba Sing Se
That's fine. I
walls,
can do that by myself.
but I will
God.
help you look for this stupid symbol.
Okay. Shurva, could you please assess the situation? Mako, you may reassess the situation.
Thank you.
Oh, dear
It is
me.
with creativity, right?
Yes,
just
it
have
is.
God damn it.
Yep.
It's always creative.
8 for Shurva. Okay, Shurva's looking for the symbol. For Mako. There's talk about the walls of Ba Sing Se. There's differing descriptions of when the inner wall and outer wall were constructed, how they were constructed. It's pretty dense stuff. You're really struggling to find anything of use. Shurva. As you begin moving through, you do begin to see little references to this. Often in accordance and associated with lion turtles, and a little bit before the era of the Avatar. This kind of seems to be something that was used to denote a different type of bending, a bending that came before the 4 elements, bending of the elements. And as you're moving through, you finally, towards the very, very back, find a scroll sealed with this symbol on it. And as you unroll it, you can see a large depiction of a lion turtle in this beautiful calligraphy art style in the very center of the page. And then the words around it in this very old style common language are basically denoting that in the time before the Avatar, the time before the bending of the elements, the peoples of the land were accosted and in constant conflict with the spirits, and so hid on the backs of lion turtles in these large cities. And the lion turtles would grant them the power of the elements whenever they needed to venture into the spirit wilds, into the outer wilds. And they used energy bending to do it, or spirit bending to do it. Spirit bending can be used to grant or to take away bending of the 4 elements. And the art has never been unlocked by humans before. It's only ever been something that the lion turtles could do.
I definitely just googled what a lion turtle looks like.
They're cool as shit.
Cool.
They are awesome.
Cool as shit. Imagine a giant
Cool as
turtle with a lion's face, and then these little stubby turtle arms, but then lion's paws.
Yeah.
Definitely something we have in Queensland here.
Yeah, probably.
Probably. Sounds Australian.
Yeah. And that's what you find, Shurva.
Okay, so...
Do you call Mako over or keep that info to yourself to punish him for his Basing Say comments?
I'll walk over to him and be like, wait, smart guy, how hard did you look?
I mean, I don't know.
Did you look for it as hard as you usually look for your headpiece? Like, you know, the one that I always gotta find for you?
No. I just ignore that. For this, I actually did kind of look, but...
Not very well. I found some information.
Okay.
Shurva holds up a scroll that you can see has the symbol on it.
Okay. So...
And you hear the same thing I said to Shurva.
Yeah.
See the same thing.
So it's spirit bending. So it's an actual bending. So does that mean it's in the
Energy
bending
bending.
archives?
I would assume, since the big owl guy said look in the bending archives, that it's probably
but
in the bending archives.
But what would be there though? If
we look for something around energy bending and the origin of bending, we might be able to find what they're able to do with it, if they're able to control it, or how they came to get it.
Does this piece of paper say that humans have never used it before?
Yes, it does.
Or is it? Yeah, okay.
It's a secret art of the lion turtles.
Maybe we should find out if lion turtles still roam anywhere.
That does seem kind of important.
Maybe... Oh, I figured it out. Alright, hear me out.
Okay.
The Fire Nation is going to find a lion turtle, and they're going to catapult it at the walls of Boston.
For a second there, I was like, okay, what does Bree think she's figured out? And then I was like, nah, she's dead.
So
as soon as she said catapult, I
is
was
someone
like, nah.
thinking like me now?
So you had a really good start. Really good start.
I saw Owen's face kind of being like, wait, does she know what's going on in the campaign? And then just, never mind.
No,
for about 2 seconds,
it.
I was like,
No,
oh, okay.
yes.
Nah, you got halfway through sentence number 1 and I was safe.
My bet is probably that the thing we saw is probably off the back of the lion turtle.
The fish?
No. The bark.
Oh!
If it has the ability to use it, only lion turtles have the ability to use it.
I'm not following.
Oh, okay.
I think what
worry,
Mako's implying is that this symbol is very rare and it's associated with lion turtles, and it's not really seen in today's society, so therefore, potentially, that's where it's come
the bark is like off the lion turtle.
So you think the piece of bark is part of the lion turtle's shell?
That, or yeah, probably, or connected to it somehow.
Well, yeah, it's connected to it. It has a symbol on it.
Well,
I would say in the drawing of the lion turtle, you can see the city on its back and trees growing out of it.
Yeah, I was going to ask that.
Yeah, it's a whole city on its back.
Yeah, I was going to ask if it's actually
and trees growing out of its back. Yeah, and you can see airbenders riding clouds flying around this thing.
Oh my god, that's awesome!
Standing on clouds.
Suddenly, the idea of catapulting this thing at the wall is both less plausible and more devastating.
Okay, let's just put it this way: if we had the technology to do that, I don't think we'd be concerned with breaching the wall.
I think he's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
What? Okay. New idea.
Oh god, yes, go.
The Fire Nation is going to put it on a leash. It's going to walk it up next to.
Okay,
the
just
wall.
stop. Just stop. Just stop. I'm gonna
climb on its back.
Nope. I'm gonna walk away. I'm slowly walking away as this happens. Nah. My good idea.
Alrighty. I'll Rung and Oki. As the three of you climb up the steps and head towards the northwestern wing, you can see rows and rows of scrolls marked out by each of the 4 elements. And then in the center of the room is a large pit. Not a large pit, sorry. A large stage made of stone with a river running through the center, torches around the sides lit up with fire, and then a hole in the roof leading to the sky. It looks like this is some sort of bending arena of some sort.
Oki beelines for the water scrolls and immediately is just sort of like, alright, what's something that no one from my tribe has ever seen or tried to do before?
Yeah.
And if the player has anything to do with it, I am beelining for bloodbending, if that is possible.
The bloodbending. How would you know to look for that?
Well, my character doesn't. This is why me, the player, is aiming for bloodbending, but Oki has no idea what it is.
Oki, can you please roll me?
The most evil thing.
Yeah. Oki, can you please roll me a d20? Just a flat d20. And I've got a table here for what forms you're going to find. We'll see if you get it. I'll let you know right now, the scale goes from 1 to 20. 8, okay. If you had rolled a 20, you would have found references to bloodbending. Not descriptions on how to do it, but you would have discovered references to it. But with an 8, as you're moving through, you now find a series of, basically a series of scrolls depicting an ice shield. So basically summoning up a shield of ice to protect you from damage that then can be pulled back into a whip or a sword. So it's basically a defensive block and then turned into an offensive maneuver. So basically you stand forwards. The first thing is raising the arms up, pulling the shield up in front of you, spinning it behind you, turning it back into water, and then pushing it forwards into the shape of an ice weapon. I would say that probably appeals to Oki. Yeah. So a defensive and offensive attack. Here you sit down and begin studying that, and then you can begin practicing in the arena if you like. Could I get you to roll with skills and training to see how well you learn this?
Skills and training.
Al and Rung, what are the two of you doing? Well, Oki just sprints in, grabs a waterbending scroll, pulls it open and goes, oh yeah! And runs into the center of the room, begins doing it. 5. Oki, this is tricky. This is tough. Like, you're not quite sure where your feet are supposed to go. You can see each of the images, but how to get between them and how to get that fluid motion between them. You think you've got to start on this, but it's going to take a bit of time and a bit of practice. Al and Rung, yeah.
Well, I know they said we couldn't really touch anything, but I don't see any owls around here, and she's having a good time. Let's say we split off and find the coolest scroll.
I actually had some airbending scrolls I wanted to look at. You can come with me, or I think they're cool.
They're really cool. I was just thinking about maybe something more mineral in it, like earthbending.
Well, I mean, metal is
not to say anything bad
cool
about earthbending. It's really cool. Wouldn't be alive if couldn't breathe air. So
I mean, yeah, like you can sit on the ground, I guess. Cool. So Sal starts just like walking one way.
We're just like, I think we found the one thing we don't agree on here. I'll do some detective work on that.
Yeah, bending's cool. Bending's cool. I like bending. Okay,
oh yeah, I love it. Yeah, bending's awesome. As he sort of like tries to like scooch himself, but like earth bending his feet, like they grab him in his feet, they like just go.
roll me a d20. Let's see what scroll you find.
Yep. I'm looking because there was a airbender called Laguru? Lagima. He was one who
Guru, who discovered how to fly without the.
Yeah, but he's a famous what's the word, philosopher in general. So I guess he was just looking up for whatever he can find by that person.
Oh, so you're in the bending scrolls. There is no philosophy and no histories here. It is just bending techniques.
Okay, any bending techniques by him then is what he's looking for.
So as you're looking through, no bending techniques by anyone known by that name. However, you do come across a series of scrolls depicting. Let me pull open what 4 was. Yeah, a series of scrolls depicting a couple of different maneuvers. One of the ones that really sort of jumps out to you is grabbing your glider across your shoulders and then running in a circle to generate a tornado, which you have not seen before, which does stand out to you as being particularly interesting.
Yeah, I think that's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah,
he's thinking to himself, wait till I show Rung this will show him that airbending is really cool.
Hey, that's pretty neat.
Would you like to roll me with skills and training to see how quickly you pick up this new skill as you head into the center of the training room and begin practicing while Oki's over in the river splashing about? How good's your skills and training? Let's see.
That is a 9.
9. Oh, you're having a bit of success with this. It's not very strong, but you're getting the sense that a bit more practice, you could have this unlocked fairly soon.
So I make a little cyclone, you're saying?
Exactly, a little twister, tornado, cyclone, yeah, by running in a circle with your glider across your shoulders and then sprinting and airbending out of your feet at the same time to generate this massive speed rush as you begin running in a circle.
What does he get a vibe that he could use this for? Is it does it lift him up as well in the cyclone, or is
no? But it could be used to lift other people up. It could be used to turn incoming enemy strikes. If an earthbender was to fling something at you, you could catch it in this, spin it around and fling it back at them. It could be used to capture something. Could be used to lift something out of the ground. You're only limited by your creativity.
Trap a library in it, for example.
Potentially.
What kind of diameter? Sorry, I guess I was imagining a 1 meter diameter. This is about
3-4 meters.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Pretty decent. Because it's the distance that you're running in a circle. Like for you to run a meter in a circle, you're not really running; you're just spinning on the spot at that point. This one, you're actually running forwards. In a circle. Rung, what are you looking for?
It's like, well, I've got to try and show this guy here that air's cool, but the rocks can just, they're just the stones. And some good stones, good rock scrolls. Something I'll show him. I'll show him that coal's good. Yep. As he's running through, he's going, boring, right. Ooh, yeah, maybe that one.
Roll me a d20.
Looking for anything that gets him. All right. Said the great philosopher. Forgot his name. 5. Oh wait, do I need to roll?
No, d20 is perfect. That's perfect. 5.
Perfect.
Rung, as you begin pouring through, I could not plan this better. As you begin pouring through, you pull out a scroll that seems to have been written. It's not the instructions aren't particularly clear, and it looks to have been written maybe by a child. As you're looking through, but very quickly you actually see this is earthbending, essentially specializing in turning soil to mud. So it's turning it into so basically lowering the density and turning it into almost like a quicksand mud for trapping people and holding them in place. And it seems to have been I would say probably so when you're on sand, turning it into quicksand. When you're on earth, turning it into a very loose gravel that people sink into. Looks to be very useful for trapping or capturing people or slowing things down.
Mining. I could just find a deposit.
Yeah, or mining.
Disintegrate like that and just take the minerals out of this. Oh, they're gonna love this at home. Oh, I was gonna love this when I teach them all about mining resources.
Rung, skills and training as you practice and see if you can learn this. As you guys are finishing this off, Mako and Shurva emerge through the door and join you.
Alright, skills and training.
Yeah.
Come on, baby. Do it. Give it to me.
9.
fine.
Yeah, you're getting the hang of it. You're not having too much trouble. You think you've only got to practice a bit more and you'll have mastered it. Mako and Shurva, you walk in to see Oki sort of like making a few splashes of water and getting a bit upset and a bit cross and frustrated, I would say. I'll make it a very small twister and Rung turning into gravel and sinking into the gravel every so often and then having to like wade his way out of it and then turn it back to stone again.
I would assume the halls would echo, right?
Oh yeah.
Like they would have heard some murmuring like coming down the like sort of like more on the confused side of like always seem questioning at the like with the sounds coming from like me as like we walk back, but as like we enter, there's like I've just stopped talking in general.
Yep.
Rung, how's it going? You seem a bit stuck.
I'm literally just like clawing myself out of this, like, oh, this is really rough, until I realize I'm an earthbender and I can just like turn the ground beneath my feet, like, like,
You just rise
like
up
solid.
out
So
of
it's
the-
like, yeah, it's like when someone's like looks like they're drowning, then they stand up in shallow water, kind of like that. I'm like, it's going really good. Check this out as I turn the ground beneath his feet into sand and gravel.
Push your luck. Let's see, because you haven't learnt this yet, so you're pushing your luck. So let's see how this goes.
Yes. Okay. Push my luck. Boom, boom, boom.
9. Mako, you sink into the ground, as does Rung.
Yeah,
Up to your
look
waist.
how cool this is.
You've learned something new, but yet to master.
It's gonna be brilliant. We could mine. We could make trap bad guys. We
yeah.
could collapse entire civilizations by destroying their walls. It's brilliant.
That last one. No.
He has no idea.
No. Okay. Good to see. There's anything
Mako
else you
and
want to learn?
Shurva, as you
Normal back to you.
Mako and Shurva, as you walk in, you can see rows and rows of shelves marked with firebending symbol, earthbending, airbending, waterbending. Shurva, at the back, you can actually see a symbol that you don't recognize. It looks almost like a spiral with maybe some sort of boomerang coming off it. For those of you who are wondering what it looks like if you're watching the stream or YouTube, it's the symbol next to Shurva's name. It looks to be denoting ancient weapon forms as well. Swordsman.
I love that it's a
for-
boomerang.
Yeah, you can see there's a series of scrolls depicting different weapon forms as well. It looks like there are lots of different weapons here. Swords, spears, guandao, which are the large halberd-like spears, fans. If you wanted to try and learn a new style of combat separate from the whip, it looks like there are some different weapon forms here as well. Up to you, your choice.
Yes.
And yeah, Mako, there's some firebending scrolls too.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
what it is.
That's not really why I'm here.
A
but,
ladder or
like,
something.
I'll probably like scroll through and just pick one that like seems
Roll me a d20.
because
Roll high, Mako. Roll high.
Yeah.
You can get above a 15, you're in a good spot. I'll tell you that now. 10.
I'm not here
Okay.
for that, so that's okay.
3. All right, so let's do Mako first. So Mako, as you reach up and pull out a scroll, it just seems to be some standard firebending forms. This one is basically it's a very interesting trick that you've not seen before, but one where you breathe fire out of your mouth and create this sort of like breath of flame. In the
cool.
picture, the person doing it is sipping from a water skin that looks to hold some sort of spirit or alcohol. You suspect that probably alcohol is needed to create this effect, but yeah, it looks to be pretty effective. If you wanted to try and learn that, you can roll skills and training. If you wanted to keep searching, you can roll another d20. Shurva, as you begin looking through the scrolls, you pull down a scroll that shows very interesting looking Earth Kingdom warriors. All seem to be female with painted faces and these long green robes, wielding fans that have sharpened edges. Between 10 and 15 was Kyoshi warriors, so if you were interested in... Yeah, show some of the Kyoshi warrior forms. If you wanted to have a go at learning some of these forms, you can roll with skills and training. If you wanted to have another search, you can roll another d20. if you wanted to assist Mako, you can give Mako advantage.
I'm actually gonna move away from the fire.
Okay.
I'm gonna start looking for the spirit stuff.
If I
Looking for the
roll
what,
a
sorry?
d20 and I
The
don't
spirit-
like what else I find, can I come back?
You can, depending on how much time you have in the library. You don't know how much time you've got here.
Okay.
I'm gonna start looking for the
14.
spirit
So
stuff.
yeah, the different Kyoshi Warrior scrolls again, Shurva. As you sort of go through them, you can find more Kyoshi Warrior scrolls. Why have you rolled twice? Did you roll it again by accident, did you?
Not by accident. I knew
Oh,
it was
Wouldn't
Kyoshi.
notice the other one.
Oh, okay. I'm taking the 14 because that was when you rolled first. We're ignoring the 6. Mako, as you begin searching through, can you do another assess the situation for me?
Yeah.
Not your strongest, I know. Sorry, buddy. You need to get a detective on board to help out. 8. Okay, Mako.
Detective.
As you have a bit of a look through, you're taking all this time searching. During that time, Rung and Oki, you guys are practicing getting a bit of a handle on these new forms. Shurva, if you wanted to learn the Kyoshi Warrior techniques, you know, a bit of a go and practice them. Just roll me with skills and training. Yeah, 9. Yeah, Shurva, you're starting to get the. It's because you don't have any fans with you, so it's hard to practice with the actual weight of the fans, but the forms themselves seem really straightforward, and it's very similar to some of the martial arts that you've been learning. And yeah, getting a bit of a hang of some of the forms and the movements. Mako, as these guys are kind of wrapping up and finishing off their training, you've been searching this entire time, close to 40 minutes or so, when out of desperation you wander back down the Fire Nation aisle again. And as you're just sort of running your hands over scrolls, one of them drops out onto the floor. And as you bend down and unroll it, it shows a firebender creating and moving lightning. And in the very top corner of the page is the energy bending symbol.
I pick this up and I start reading like crazy.
Yeah, it looks to be depicting basically a firebender summoning lightning and shooting lightning forwards, which creates this blast of lightning. But even more interestingly, they start by placing their hand on another person and then pulling something to generate the lightning. Almost like pulling the heat from their body is what it looks like to you.
Yeah, like this.
And the lightning blast looks to be way stronger than anything you've seen before. It's almost like a solid bolts of lightning.
It
that
looks
shoots.
more like by pulling the spirit, of a person, it enhances their ability.
You're not so sure if it's the spirit, because your understanding of firebending, the firebending source is that you create energy from heat, and sometimes that can be fueled by emotion, but you know that other people connect to the source of firebending in different ways. You've heard tales of the Sun Warriors who connect to the original source of firebending, but no one really remembers what that was, at least not in the Fire Nation. This looks to be maybe pulling the heat from the body to do it.
Okay, this is, yep.
Just something fun for you.
Yeah. Okay.
So if we start feeling really cold, we know.
Yeah, if you start feeling
something's
really
going
cold.
on.
So is this like instructions on how to do it, or is this just
Yeah. This is a
I will-
bending scroll. This is instructions on how to do it.
start practicing, like whatever this one's following the move set.
Yeah,
Understand
as
that
you,
I probably won't be able to get the grasp, the gist of it just
you can't even
yet,
create
like-
lightning yet. So this is
Yeah,
far beyond.
Just trying to remember the move, so if ever there's a possibility, I am ready for.
Roll me some skills and training.
Rung, while you're doing this, Rung just wants to go, tell you why you're doing this stuff, just sort of put his hand in, what are you doing there, bud? And see if that may help you or anything, I don't know.
Are you gonna help him?
Yeah, will that help him?
How does that help him?
Maybe I don't know what he's doing, but maybe him touching me can take some from my amazing hotness.
Okay.
As an
That
earthbender.
doesn't help at all. That provides no
Okay.
assistance whatsoever. But luckily, Mako had
Minus
already
one.
rolled. Luckily, yeah, -3. No, luckily Mako had already rolled a 9.
What the shot, man?
Yeah, Mako, you kind of think you've got the understanding of this, but you would need to be able to summon lightning to be able to do this, and that's not something you know how to do just yet. That's pretty advanced firebending. From what you've heard and what you remember, to create lightning, you need to have no emotion at all. It's a cold fire is what it's known as, or the emotionless fire. But then most firebenders actually use emotion for their firebending, so it's a real contradiction. You would maybe know a handful of people who can bend and summon lightning. You suspect that it is very difficult using emotion to fuel your firebending and then trying to sort of snap out of that to create this lightning.
Interesting,
Yeah.
interesting.
As you're sort of finishing over reading that scroll, a rumble goes through the library and the floor shakes. Bits of rock and dust and sand falling down from the ceiling for a few seconds, followed by the sound of a low boom echoing through the chamber in the halls. One of the fox spirits runs down from one of the aisles and runs out the door whining.
Oh.
I think it's time for us to leave.
Oh, put this back. I don't need this anymore. No, actually, he keeps it. Did he say I have to like check the books back in once we're done or anything? Or
Please put it back.
all
Put
right,
it back. We're not stealing from the library.
I've remembered it, guys. Don't worry. He just like makes.
You cleaned your
a little
hands
mini
before
tabble.
picking it up, right?
Of course, he doesn't show his hand as like he sort of like squishes his hand to hide it.
Oh, there's dirty coal prints all over the scroll, and you've like drawn a moustache using your finger on one of them.
We're never getting back in here again.
A few seconds
Put it on
later,
the spot.
the whole library shakes and judders again.
I put the scrolls back up, and guys, I think it's time for us to go.
All right, get a move on. Hip hip. Like he sort of like jaunts out. Learn how to turn a rock into sand.
Yeah.
Learn how to make a man into. No.
As you guys come out the door and begin moving down the hallway, you see the feathered form of Si Tong fly overhead and land on the gangway, looking at the doors. The double doors seem to have closed at some point. You're not quite sure when. And then there's another, and the doors shake and dust rattles down. And Si Tong sort of looks very concerned and begins sort of pulling back, his wings moving back, his head stretching forwards, and these talons emerging from underneath his feathers. You hear this low hiss come out of his beak. And then with another, the doors crack and burst open, revealing a whole bunch of Fire Nation soldiers stepping in, hands held up, flames in their hands. And at the front of them, you see a figure, tall, dressed in these very long, elegant robes with a priest's hat, a Fire Nation priest's hat, step forward.
Hey, cool, man.
Si Tong, he who knows 10,000 things. We have need of your library.
And that is where we're going to end for tonight. Because I
That's fine.
suspect we're going to be getting into a bit of fun and games next session.
Oof.
Now he knows
Alrighty.
10,006 things.
He
Five
does.
things.
There you go.
Seven,
Including a nursery rhyme for airbenders.
Including a
Exactly.
nursery rhyme for airbenders.
He's got to know one more thing. This is where they-
10,008 now.
So
Do we
how
keep a
many
tally?
like firebenders do you say there were?
Oh, yeah. So behind the priest, you can see 3 firebenders, all with flames in their hands. And then behind them, there are 4 troops holding swords and shields that step through.
I wonder at what point he became the man that knows, like Si Tong, man of knowledge of 10,000 things. Like, was he like just counting up from like one knows 10 things, like 1,000?
10,000's
Like
not actually
five.
that much as well.
He's got to know where 8 people died. That's what he's going to know next.
Oh!
Big words, big words.
Which 8?
It's either 8 or 7. I can't decide this yet.
Oh god, amazing. Alrighty, well, thank you so much everybody for coming and joining us. We have had an absolute blast playing Avatar Legends RPG system. We will be back next Tuesday for some more fun and games, and then we'll have a bit of a chat about what it's going to look like over Christmas, because I imagine people are busy over Christmas. So we'll have a bit of a chat heading forwards what our schedule's going to look like over Christmas. You're a bit busy, are you? I can see your like fingers there, Ali. A little bit busy. What was that, sorry?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit, yeah. So we'll keep you guys posted. We'll let you know what the plan is as we know. But until next time, stay safe, stay well, and we will see you all again for more Avatar next Tuesday, and for D&D Tyranny of Dragons tomorrow night. So make sure you tune in. We will see you all later. Farewell, everybody. Farewell.
Farewell, everyone. See you next Tuesday.
Farewell. Goodbye.
See you later.
Bye.